Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to this What's Map DLC special with me, BonBonB. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. So today we'll be having a look at the Green Cities DLC, which was brought out in October 2017, and it gave us new specializations, some eco water plants, and of course 3 new maps. Now, if you've been following this series of DLC specials, the last DLC we did was the campus one. Now, admittedly, a more recent DLC, and there were 5 maps, and they were all good maps, and a couple of them were actually very good maps. So, there's a rare thing for DLC maps. Don't go expecting the same today, though. Admittedly, we are going back in time just a little bit here, so earlier maps equal poorer standards, one would say. At least all the 3 maps are playable, I'm going to say that. Other than that, we are here for entertainment purposes only, and we'll save the best till last because it's all in alphabetical order. And if you approve of that, well, you know what to do. That's right, clicking that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's first map is Eden Valley, obviously from the Green Cities DLC. Valleys, there's a couple of valleys going on in there, so I suppose we can allow for the name. There's your start square, and again from up here, looks very good indeed. And wait till you see the resources. You're going to say, hey BonBon, actually this map doesn't look too bad after all. Okay, if you say so. Let's go down the ground level and have a little fly through. Now, to be honest with you, this particular map isn't that bad. I mean, it isn't that good, but it's not that bad. What it lacks is any inspiration. Some maps, they just say, you want to build on here because look how exciting it is. This map doesn't feel exciting. In fact, quite like the other 2 maps you're about to see, it does feel like they were all made the day before release. One of them hasn't been checked at all, literally has not been checked at all. It's not broken, but you can see that nobody looked at the map at all. They just bundled it up, sent it out and said, here you go guys, here are some free maps. Here's a tip for Colossal Order here, right? If you're not going to spend at least a week working on the map, and a week isn't long enough anyway, but if you're not going to spend a week working on the map, don't worry about it. We're fine. There are plenty of maps on the workshop and plenty of maps with the base game. There's your start square. There you go. There are plenty of maps that we can already be using. Plenty of maps with the other DLCs, and some of them are good. Not many, but some of them. But honestly, if you've got just a pile of junk, don't bother. It's embarrassing. It's genuinely embarrassing. Yeah, this bridge probably could be a tad higher, and also the pillars are in the middle of the, supposed to be crossing the river, not building into the river. We should have had pillars on either side there. Anyway, where were we? Yes, so I love this game. I love the game. I think it's a great game. I think we've got a great community. We've certainly got great developers and great support from Colossal Order and Paradox, giving us new DLC, new content all the time, patches on the go. Yeah, I'm proud to be a part of this community, and I love the game. And then you get not 1, not 2, but 3 maps. This is not too much to say about the rail. The rail isn't bad. There's not really much could go wrong with the rail, to be honest with you, but we'll skip over the rails to show you the rail is okay. Credit where it's due. Credit where it's due. We've got good rail on this map. Not great rail, but a good rail. Water, we have a shipping route which just loops around like this, and that is perfectly adequate, so I'm okay with that. And we have another one over here which nips down here through this little pass here and bends around like this. So yeah, we've got shipping routes. Shipping routes are fine. Not gonna get access really. There's a little bit of access, I guess, not a huge amount. Water flow, we've got the water flow. It's a good strong river going down here past the start square, so if you want water flow through your start square, you have definitely got it going on here, so credit where it's due there. You always expect to have good strong water flow on the Colossal Order map anyway. Now here's the map as a whole. It just lacks inspiration. And look at the hills. I mean, there. That's all I can say about them. They're just a bit air. I mean, the trees have just been randomly splashed over the top. They've not been worked in to sort of like give definition to the hills. I mean, those hills could have been made to look a lot more interesting. And check this one's over here. I mean, what is going on here? These are ugly. And it's not just because it's a vanilla theme, which, face it, the themes are pretty ugly themes. But those are just ugly hills. We've got some interesting tree placement on the flat build plains, just to make things look a little bit more interesting. And look at the river, though. Look at the river. Which way is it supposed to be flowing? There's no real guide. It gets a bit narrow down here. There's nothing along the riverbanks. It's just boring. It's boring, dull, not very inspirational, and just nothing to make you really want to play on it. It's not a bad map. It's not a broken map. But it is a poor map. So I'm going to give this one a middly 2 stars. It's playable. It's not broken. That's the redeeming feature. But would you want to play on it? I wouldn't, to be honest with you. I think the actual original base game maps are better than this one. Next up, this one is, well, if the first one was embarrassing, this one is just hide your head. Really, truly, possibly the worst map I've seen that comes with the game. Garden Rivers by, well, obviously the Green Cities DLC. I keep saying that, but there's always going to be somebody say, where do I get this map from? Green Cities DLC. Okay. There's your start square again from up here. It looks okay, actually. That looks like a well planned out start square, so credit there. And again, resources look okay, so credit where it's due. It is a playable map, and that's the one redeeming feature. So let's head down to a ground level. Look at the hills in the background there. They don't really give you much of a visual backdrop at all. We'll look at them in a little bit more detail later on, because the eagle-eyed amongst you will have spotted something already. And yes, you are right. That's all I'm going to tell you. Yes, you are absolutely right. Also, bear in mind I'm using Cube Map Replacer here, so we've got a custom sky. Imagine what this map would look like with the vanilla sky. Yeah, dear oh dear. Anyways, in terms of the highways, they seem equidistant, so let's find some credit and try and say good things where I can find good things to say about this map. Yeah, they seem well laid out highways. I say they seem it because they seem it. We will see some problems a bit later on. This particular map, this is the one that hasn't been seen by human eyes before release. It was worked on by somebody, and somebody said to them, is it finished? And they went, yep. And then they packaged it up and sent it out. It's not ready. It's not even close to being ready. Now, first of all, in terms of highways, look at how what's that all about? What is all that about? I don't get it. There's no highway connection to the other side of the map. This one goes off to the edge of the map. But where our start square, you'll see the little start square intersection coming up here. Where that start square is pointing, there is no connections over that side of the map over there at all. Nothing. And yet we've got 2 connections within a few yards of each other. Okay. Bridges. Bridges? How are bridges looking? Do you know what? That's okay, isn't it? It's not very exciting, but it's okay. I can't fault it really, so okay, we'll let that one go. Let's have a look at the rail. Okay, is the rail going to be any good? Because it's a flat build space, and this is good. Makes for a better gameplay. Rail bridge looks fine. Looks fine. And then we have a little bit of blue mantle as we come back to land and have to climb up the hill just a little bit. Again, it's not the worst rail in the world. There wasn't an awful lot that could go wrong, and it still managed to go a little bit wrong. Just a little bit. And then this cuts through, doesn't go up and over the hills, so credit for that one. Oh, you were expecting it to go up and over the hills, weren't you? Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for even thinking that for one moment, because that's exactly the sort of thing that we would have expected. We have shipping routes. It's a lot of shipping coming up into the bay and then back out again. whether you want them to or not. So again, you're going to see a lot of ships coming in and out that don't even want to go to your harbours. And then water flow, as always, good strong water flow down here. Why wouldn't you want good strong water flow down here? In terms of realism though, we have a divergence here which makes absolutely zero sense whatsoever. Don't understand it. It's just mutters to himself time. Okay, let's pull back and have a look at the map as a whole. So the map as a whole, plenty of build space, flat land, very neat. We do have a highway connection, we do have shipping, we do have rail. But then we have hills. Now if you have a look at these hills, they're a little bit blotchy on the slopes. And you'll soon spot some telltale signs like here. We got some ridges that say digitization. Maybe these hills haven't had the smoothing tool run over them. And that becomes very obvious here. Look at digitization there. This is very much a Minecraft-y style map. This is not acceptable, guys. This is not acceptable. If this was a creator on the workshop, I would be coming down like a ton of bricks. As this is official content, I've got my head under a blanket right now. Well, I would do if I weren't going to muffle my voice too much. This is just embarrassing. This is just so embarrassing. This is worse than that. This is shocking. We'll come over here. Now, admittedly, these hills are way deep in the fog. You'll never see them. But these ones over here are just tessellated. They are absolutely appalling, abhorrent, disgusting. This is shocking. I don't like saying it. I love the game. I love the creators. But this is not acceptable. I am going to give this map 2 stars rather than 1 star because it is technically playable. But why you'd want to? Perhaps you just don't know better. Garden Rivers, one to be avoided. But don't worry, the next map is better. I'm not saying it's good. This is the Charles Dickens of maps. The Charles Dickens of maps. It's the best of maps of the worst of the maps. Misquoted, of course. Yeah. It's not as bad as that last one. There you go. That's best I can say for it. It's Lavender Lake. There is a lake in the middle, which I'm guessing is the Lavender Lake. We'll be taking a look at that, as of everything else, of course. Shall we have a little look at the start square? Start square, there you go. We've got access to the lake. Now, the lake is our only source of water, but we do have a whole bunch of new assets with the Green Cities DLC, so you probably don't mind that too much. Resources, again, quite usable. Got some oil by the lake as well. That might spoil your aesthetics around the lake, but hey. It's your city to do what you like with. And if you want to drill for oil on the Green City, then go ahead. Just go ahead. Nobody cares. Okay, the hills on the backdrop on this map are a lot better, and the forests are by far the best forests of the 3 maps. In fact, it's the forests that make this map stand out as being not absolutely horrible. Because, well, it's can be pushing that way a little bit. Start square, there you go. You knew it was going to look a little bit like that. We have a little bit of jinky janky coming off the bend here, where it bends there and goes straight. So a little bit of a jinky janky that's not very well laid roads. And then up here we've got another one. You can see we go just like jink straight into a straight line there. Yeah, it's not the pretty. It's not pretty. Then we've got a little bit of tessellation between the 2 highways down there. A little bit of just a bit deformed. A little bit deformed. A little bit like me. And then the highway then cuts down and through, and it's okay down here. It looks quite pleasing. I mean, aesthetically, it looks quite pleasing. Or best we can ask for, really. Now you're saying, okay, so it's actually just a little bit of tessellation, and we've got a couple of bits of jinky janky, so it's not that bad, is it? Is it, BonBonB? And I say to you, I raise you a bridge. Actually, I wish you would raise the bridge, because look at that. That is just shocking. It literally is right on the edge of the 25 tiles. That is not strictly in 25 tiles, but the 25 tiles stop just as that bridge starts, and that is just going to be very visible. You got new players coming into the game, buying the game, taking this, taking the DLC, maybe loading up Lavender Lake as their first map, possibly even worse than that. Can you imagine Garden Rivers as the first map they're built on? It's just an embarrassment. It is. It's all I can say. The rail, though, there's not too much to complain about with the rail. Again, the rail is perfectly adequate. It doesn't do anything clever, doesn't do anything silly. I can quite happily live with the rail. All three maps, the rail is more or less fine. I mean, one or two minor grumbles, but honestly, fine. So, what have we got in the way of shipping on this map? How about some shipping going around Lavender Lake? Do you reckon they've gone and done that? Do you think? Shall we have a look? Well, they haven't. We do have a shipping route, though, that runs up the side of the map and loops around. So you can get access to shipping with a couple of well-placed harbours. It's not the most exciting, but it's perfectly fine. Water flow. Now, we've got a river with strong water flow, but as you'll remember, this river doesn't run through the start square. The Lavender Lake does. So I'd like to see some water movement in here. It's quite easy to do. So you could do some pumping and drawing from it, or you could be using the new assets that come with the DLC. So I don't have a huge problem with that today. All told, the map is, again, non-inspirational, although it's probably a little bit more inspiring than the very first map we saw. It's definitely got some way better. I mean, the forests are way better than that first map, and the hills are a lot more interesting than in the first map and a lot less pixelated than the second map. Hence, this is the best of the three maps. I think it could be a little bit better still. Like, if this is Lavender Lake, and this is your set piece, this is what your map is featuring, focusing on, what's lavender about it? Well, I'm going to show you how quick and easy it will be in real time. This will be at real time speed. Little stopwatch in the top right hand corner. I'm going to make Lavender Lake a little bit more lavender. In real time. In real time. Most of the rest of this review has been slightly sped up by maybe 20, 35%. This is me. When I say working, I'm just tinkering. I'm just running some lavender trees. These are the vanilla based trees as well. These are available to the creators. It's not like I've grabbed something off the workshop. This is the stuff that they have access to. And just putting some of these lavender coloured trees around the outside of the lake, merging them in with the green forests that we've got already, I think that just makes it, again, I'm not saying it makes the map a much better map, but in under a minute, I've given the map a meaning. I mean, I've given it a reason, a raison d'etre. Look at that, 57 seconds. And already the map is, well, it's just got an extra dimension. Because you're building around that and you're having to make decisions. Are we going to keep that as an aesthetic area? Or are we going to do some oil drilling? Because there's oil them there in that big light green area. So, yeah. Still, all told, the map isn't particularly awful. Unlike certain other maps we could talk about. I'm going to grumble about that bridge. I'm going to call it a low 3-star map. It's a map that could be a lot more than it is, but it's not dreadful. Low 3 stars is the best you're going to see in the Green Cities DLC. Thanks, Glosslorder. Thanks a lot. Well, thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking and for subscribing. A regular What's Map will be returning very soon, the 24th of August, back to the daily show where we check out your maps. If you've got any new maps that you've released, do let me know and I'll make sure I get to review some of them. And just a little shout out to all of the BonBonB buddies over on Patreon. Thank you very much for all of your support. If you want to support the channel, head on over to patreon.com/BonBonB. For just $1 a month, you can keep this channel going because it does need your help.